But first, from our 8 News Now, investigators of Valley Homes searched in connection to the Tupac Shakur murder investigation.
New, never-before-seen photos and video connected to the investigation into the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur.
The man charged in Tupac Shakur's murder is speaking out from behind bars for the first time.
What happened on the night Tupac Shakur was shot? Was it simply a violent act tied to gang rivalries? Or was there a deeper conspiracy at play? Even decades after his death, Tupac's murder remains one of the most baffling unsolved crimes in modern history. Despite numerous investigations, countless theories, and a surge of conspiracy theories, the truth about who killed Tupac Shakur has yet to surface. Let's dive into this chilling story and explore the mysteries that have surrounded Tupac's death from the night of the shooting to the present day. Tupac's life leading up to the tragic night. Tupac Amaru Shakur, born in 1971, was not just a rapper. He was an outspoken activist, a poet, and a figure who transcended the music industry, known for his bold lyrics, sharp critiques of societal injustices, and a troubled life filled with legal issues. Tupac had a complicated relationship with fame and violence. As his career skyrocketed in the early 90s, his persona as the voice of a generation battling systemic oppression grew stronger, yet with fame came enemies, rivalries, legal disputes, and gang affiliations. These elements would all play significant roles in the events leading up to his untimely demise. In the days before his murder, Tupac was involved in an altercation at the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas, which would end up being a pivotal moment in his life. On the night of September 7th, 1996, Tupac was seen on camera getting into a physical altercation with Orlando Anderson, a member of the notorious Southside Crips. Anderson had allegedly been involved in a robbery of Tupac 2 years earlier. The night of the murder, the shooting that shook the world. On the night of the shooting, Tupac was with Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight, heading to a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand. After the altercation with Anderson, Tupac and Suge Knight left the hotel in a BMW, driving down the Las Vegas Strip. Suddenly, a white Cadillac pulled up alongside them and opened fire. Tupac, sitting in the passenger seat, was struck multiple times, with bullets hitting him in the chest, arm, and pelvis. The shooting occurred in a matter of seconds, and the assailants sped off, vanishing into the night. Tupac was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Despite his efforts to fight for his life, he succumbed to his injuries 6 days later, on September 13th, 1996, at the age of 25. The murder sent shockwaves through the world, leaving fans, fellow artists, and the general public grappling with a sense of loss and confusion. And the gang theory, a retaliation for a previous fight. One of the most popular theories surrounding Tupac's murder is that it was a direct result of the altercation he had with Orlando Anderson. Many believe that the shooting was a retaliation by members of the Southside Crips. In the days following the shooting, several sources linked the incident to gang activity, suggesting that Tupac's ties to the Bloods and his involvement in gang-related disputes made him a target. However, while the fight between Tupac and Anderson seemed like an obvious lead, investigators were unable to gather concrete evidence linking Anderson or any other member of the Crips to the shooting. The problem with this theory is the lack of direct evidence. There were no witnesses who could definitively identify the shooter, and the white Cadillac from which the shots were fired was never found. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry. Was Tupac a victim of this feud? Another theory that has persisted since Tupac's death is that his murder was tied to the infamous East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry. In the 1990s, the hip-hop world was divided into two major factions. The East Coast, represented by artists like the Notorious B.I.G., and the West Coast, where Tupac was the reigning king. The animosity between these two coasts had escalated over the years, with insults and threats being exchanged through songs and media interviews. The feud between Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. was one of the most talked about aspects of this rivalry. Some people believe that Tupac's murder was a direct result of this conflict, with many speculating that Biggie's associates were involved in orchestrating the killing. The tension between the two rappers had escalated to such a degree that shortly before Tupac's death, there were even claims of a death row contract being placed on Biggie's head. Despite the widespread belief in this theory, there has never been any substantial evidence to link Biggie, his associates, or any East Coast figures to the shooting. The police investigation into the East Coast-West Coast rivalry never led to an arrest, and to this day, the link between Tupac's murder and the feud remains largely speculative. The Suge Knight theory. Was Suge Knight involved in Tupac's death? One of the most controversial theories about Tupac's murder involves his close association with Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records. Knight was known for his intimidating personality, ties to the criminal underworld, and volatile behavior. Some believe that Suge Knight, who was with Tupac on the night of the shooting, may have had something to do with the murder, either directly or indirectly. A number of rumors circulated in the aftermath of the murder, with some suggesting that Knight had orchestrated the shooting in order to maintain control over Tupac, who was rumored to be planning to leave Death Row Records at the time of his death. Others believe that Suge Knight was the actual target of the shooting, and that Tupac was caught in the crossfire. However, no solid evidence has ever linked Knight to the crime. Some conspiracy theorists have even suggested that Knight's role in the murder might have been part of a larger plan to stage Tupac's death as a way to make his exit from the public eye more dramatic. The faked his own death theory. Did Tupac stage his death? One of the most persistent and outlandish theories is that Tupac faked his own death. Some believe that Tupac, disillusioned by the fame, violence, and pressure surrounding him, staged his death as a way to escape from the limelight. Proponents of this theory point to his cremation immediately following his death and the fact that his funeral was highly private. They also argue that Tupac's lyrics in his later works, such as Hail Mary and I Wonder If Heaven Got a Ghetto, hinted at the possibility that he had planned his death in advance. Despite the allure of this theory, there is no credible evidence to support the idea that Tupac faked his death. His family, friends, and associates have repeatedly denied any involvement in such a plot. The investigation. Why has Tupac's murder remained unsolved? Over the years, several investigations have taken place in an attempt to solve the mystery of Tupac's murder. Las Vegas police, along with federal agencies, have explored various leads, but despite the attention the case has received, no one has been arrested for the crime. Witnesses who were present at the scene have either refused to cooperate or recanted their statements, making it difficult for law enforcement to piece together the details of the shooting. One reason why the case remains unsolved is the involvement of multiple factions. From gangs to the music industry to the media, too many people had a vested interest in Tupac's life and death, which created an atmosphere of confusion and deceit. Many of the people who could have provided answers either chose not to speak up or died under mysterious circumstances, further complicating the investigation. As the years go by, the mystery surrounding Tupac Shakur's death continues to haunt the public. His legacy, both as an artist and a cultural figure, remains untouchable. However, the questions surrounding his murder linger. Will we ever know the truth? Or will Tupac's death remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in music history? If you want to stay updated on this case and other unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. What do you think really happened to Tupac? Share your thoughts in the comments below.